It's the day before a national holiday in Ukraine and you're at work thinking about your long weekend. Your computer asks if it can update. You say yes because it's the tax program and it's always asking, and you have never once read what an update contains. Nobody has. That isn't what updates are for. You go back to your morning. About an hour later, your computer restarts on its own and tells you it's fixing a problem with the hard drive. That's annoying, but computers do that. Then it restarts again and asks you for $300 in Bitcoin. Let's back up. In Ukraine, if you were a business and you paid taxes, you used one particular program to do it. Not because it was popular, because it was the one the government worked with. So every company in the country had it installed on at least one computer. Sit with that for a moment. There is a single program with a foot inside every business in an entire nation, every bank, every hospital, every corner shop, every port. Somebody noticed. Years earlier, someone sent an email to the small company that made that program. An ordinary employee opened the attachment. Nothing appeared to happen, and I want to be fair here. Nothing appearing to happen is exactly what it's supposed to look like. There's no alarm. There's no smoke. So the attackers had a quiet door into that company, and they didn't steal anything. They waited for years for the one thing they actually wanted, which was permission to send everybody an update. Because when the tax program updates, every business in Ukraine installs it. Immediately, without thinking. That's the whole point of an update. Hidden inside that day's update was a small program with one instruction: get everywhere. It landed on one machine and went looking for every other machine connected to it. Normally, a computer won't let a stranger walk in. It asks for a password. But at the time, Windows computers kept their passwords sitting inside themselves in a way another program could simply read. So it didn't guess passwords. It read them off the computer, used them to open the next one, and collected that one's passwords too. One infected machine was enough to take an entire company. Then it waited 1 hour. During that hour, it spread as far as it could, and in the background it scrambled every file on the computer. Documents, records, customer lists, all turned into nonsense. The restart and the message about fixing the hard drive. It was scrambling the last part, the piece that lets a computer switch on at all. Then came the ransom note. Red writing on a black screen. $300 in Bitcoin and you get your files back. That was a lie. There was nothing to unlock. No key existed. Nobody was reading the messages. The ransom note was decoration, so that everyone would spend the first crucial day treating this as a robbery instead of realizing it was built only to destroy. Companies paid anyway. It was $300 for every single machine they owned, and when your entire business is frozen, that still sounds cheap. By mid-morning, the country was stopping. Card machines stopped working, so people went to cash machines, which were also down. Petrol stations couldn't sell petrol. Buses couldn't sell tickets. Hospitals couldn't open patient records. The post office couldn't tell where anything was meant to go. The computers monitoring radiation at the old Chernobyl plant went dark, which is a sentence nobody wants to hear. Roughly 10% of the computers in the entire country were destroyed. Then it left. Because international companies pay Ukrainian taxes too. Anyone with an office there was running that program somewhere in the building. And from that one machine, it walked calmly through the rest of the company into every other country they operated in. It reached a shipping company responsible for nearly 13% of all the goods shipped worldwide. 17 of their port terminals stopped. Ships arrived and could not be unloaded. Trucks queued and could not be filled. Containers full of things people had ordered simply sat there because a tax program in Ukraine had been updated. The damage came to at least $10 billion, and that is the lowest estimate anyone offered. Now here's the strange part. In the middle of all this, a few computers survived, untouched, working normally, while every machine around them was wiped. A researcher pulling the thing apart found out why. Before destroying a computer, it checked whether it had already been there. It did that by looking for a file with one specific name. If the file existed, it assumed the job was done and quietly stopped. Which means if you happen to have an empty file with exactly that name, In exactly the right folder, you were safe. Not protected, just holding the right piece of paper. On one of those surviving computers in an empty office, that file had appeared by itself in the middle of the night before the attack. The machine switched itself on, made the file, put it away, and switched off again. Nobody was in the building. The best explanation anyone has is that whoever built this wanted a handful of machines left standing, not out of kindness. If you're going to burn down a building you've been quietly living inside, it's useful to keep one door working. Investigators traced it back to a state-backed group. Governments took years to say so out loud, and when they did, nothing much happened. The kill switch was found by a bored researcher with a free afternoon.